What up, boys, girls, ladies, and gents? Episode 26 of Farms Out. I'm actually quite a bit skinnier than I was before I left for China. I did not realize that until I stepped on the scale. I am once again at 165 pounds. So between working and perhaps eating different foods or eating less of those foods, I dropped like 5 pounds immediately, which is a little frustrating. You guys can probably see it in my face, actually. And this is like pretty bloated. Like, I've eaten a ton of food in the last 2 days. I think 3 Subway footlongs, some Whataburger. Like, I just ate a bunch of stuff, and I stepped on the scale and I was 165, which actually means pre-bloat, I am lighter than 165. I don't know where all this weight is going. Obviously, I've been trying really hard to gain weight. But, I mean, I got it. You know, it is what it is. Like, I can't really watch my diet too much when I'm out there, especially because I'm working so much. I can only eat what's around. I don't really have all the nutrition facts and everything. Can't really see how many calories I'm taking in. Whatever I was taking in China was definitely not a lot for the bulk. So that's really, really sad. But I guess we did the cut. We did the cut. Nobody noticed. We just randomly cut down those pounds. So I don't know when the next time. It's crazy too, because I felt super big in China because everybody is so much smaller than me. I was like, oh, like I'm fat. I was like, I'm super duper fat. Anyway, dropped a whole lot of weight. Not my finest movement, but I mean, I look okay. Like, I don't look bad. I just like am skinnier. Also, I think I'll be wearing my hair down more. They really like that in China, and you know, they have a good sense of style. So I'm not tripping on it too hard. Get to the first question. I did not tell y'all to post questions in the last video, so sorry ahead of time for that, but some of y'all did, so I'm just gonna answer some of these. Not all of these are rock related, but you know, they are questions I wanted to answer. So you will sit there and listen. First question is from Ibrahim. 11 go. Ibrahim asks, hey, Richard primary to Sun Tzu or Sun Tzu primary to Richard in the early game open field? My Richard is 5-1-1. Generally, whenever you're pairing with Richard, you want to have him as the primary. The reason why you want to have him as the primary is because he has the defense tree, and that's really strong. Also, people are much more likely to target Sun Tzu than they are to target Richard. So generally, as a rule of thumb, if you're KVK 1 running Richard Sun Tzu, you want Richard to be the primary. I forgot how awkward it is, like, after I answer a question and I'm just like desperately trying to like finish the farm so I can move on to the next one. Man, and like Race edited my last video that I did for Age of Empires Mobile. Obviously, it's not posted by the time I'm talking to you guys because I have to talk to them about it. But that video, yo, what a piece of work. I definitely just like threw a bunch of footage at that man and just said, hey, like, do your best. Next question is coming from Nightmare Shorts 1149, and he asks, I have an 8.5 mil count KVK1 is over. Should I restart? If KVK1 is over and you're not even 10 mil power, you probably should restart. I don't think there's a really good reason for you to invest more time into it. This is how I tell people, especially doing coaching. If you have one of these accounts that are kind of behind and you plan on saving it by putting in a lot of time, especially after KVK1, would you get as much value as you're looking for by just spamming a ton of time into this account, or would you get more value by taking the same amount of time and putting it into a new fresh account in which you're in the top alliance and you know everything that you messed up? Personally, I think in this situation you should probably restart. You've been playing for, at this point, probably 4.5 months, and it does feel painful to restart that kind of progress, but at the end of the day, like, 8.5 mil power is barely, like very barely, like 2 months worth of progress. If you spend anything, it's less than 2 months. But if you're like free to play, like a decent free to play will have 8.5 mil pretty naturally in like 2 months in. That's a hard sell, right? That's a hard sell to be behind. So I would heavily suggest you restart. Next question here is coming from Hamish Beals. Hey 12, would you still recommend going for T5 before VIP 14? I think the answer is, I don't know when the answer is not going to be yes for this. And the reason why I say that is because T5 is probably at its most important right now. And just in terms of like getting you more materials, being able to chain more, how important like max tech T4 is, like all of that stuff, like T5 continues to get more important. And as we have like more gear being released, more armaments being released, the actual commanders themselves, I'm not saying they're not important, right? But they're only one piece of the puzzle, and they're a rather quick piece of the puzzle. Like, you tend to get your commanders way faster than you're gonna get any iconic refines in. So on one hand, like, I like VIP 14, right? It's not a bad thing. I'm going for VIP 17. I'm actually about to open it, I think today. So I'm gonna like stream in a second here, go live and be VIP 17. However, just because I like VIP doesn't mean I don't like T5 more. Holy shit, I just can't talk. One of my heads, if you're gonna put that in, just make fun of me for stuttering like an idiot. All right, the next is not a comment, but rather a statement. And this is from Prasan Balaji 1886. It says, AOEM is spoiling the name of AOE. I tried the beta and it's total shit. I would say, like, Age of Empires Mobile is definitely not for everybody. It's like, I wrote a comment about this, but it reminds me a lot of Age of Empires had a DS release for Age of Empires 2. Maybe it was like 20 years ago. It was at least like 15 years ago. It was a long time. And that game was like a turn-based Age of Empires game. And like, for all intents and purposes, like, it wasn't like terrible, but it was like janky and it wasn't great. But the people who liked the turn-based games really really liked that game. The people who didn't really. If you are coming like directly from Age of Empires and you're expecting like a complete RTS, then yeah, you're gonna be disappointed. But I mean, like, if you play games like Rise of Kingdoms, Game of War Fire Age, Dawn of Titans, Lords Mobile, you know, if you play like these types of games and then you come in expecting a similar experience, then it's gonna be really good. Like, it's a really good mobile game. It's not a really good real-time strategy game. It just depends on what you're looking for. You know, if you set your expectations to something they're obviously not trying to sell you, then, you know, it's gonna be bad. But I mean, like, just understand what you're buying or understand what you're playing. I'm gonna be playing it free to play, so. All right, boys, and that is it for episode 26 of Farms Out. Glad to be back, boys. We're gonna be doing daily Farms Out updates once again. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please be sure to drop a like, a follow, consider subscribing. Again, always put your comments in the description below if you want me to answer your questions. I know I didn't do it last video. Sorry about that, y'all. I just come back from China and I had to rant, okay? Y'all understand, right? Anyway, I appreciate y'all so much for being here. It's good to be back. I'm about to go live right now as I say this. Have yourselves an absolutely wonderful day, and I guess I'll see y'all on stream, and I'll see y'all in the next episode of Farms Out if you guys are only video viewers. But catch y'all later. Deuces, boys. Take it easy.